Hello, everybody. I wanted to do another video on the CRNA interview. I was just actually, actually just did a whole bunch of mock interviews, and I was coaching some of the people during the mock interview and noticed something that keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And I said, you know what? I want to share this with all of you. And what we're going to talk about is two big ways I see people sabotaging their CRNA interview, and they don't even know it. And I'm going to show you how to kind of break free from that. Okay. But it's like the silent wrecker of your CRNA interviews that a lot of times you don't even think you're doing it. Okay. The number one, the first one, there's gonna be two. The first one is prepping for your interview and actually interviewing from fear, like coming at all of it from a fear-based perspective. And here's what that looks like. It's worrying about all the do's, or not all the do's, it's worrying about all of the don'ts and the should nots, right? It's prepping and coming from that place of worrying about everything that you should not do. Well, don't do this. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to say too much. I can only talk for I heard your answers have to be like 60 seconds. Well, what if I ramble? I don't want to ramble. I don't want to talk too much. I've heard that I shouldn't say this because if I say this, then they're going to do this. And then if I say too much, then they're going to ask me about it. And then I'm not going to know it. And then they're going to think I'm stupid. And I just don't want that, because what if I just don't know anything and I don't want to get myself stuck, right? Again, valid, right? It is valid to have fears and to be worried. How human of you. That is okay. However, when you are approaching your interview prep and you show up to your interview like that, what happens is you shrink. You're actually shrinking yourself. You're dumbing yourself down. You're censoring yourself. And you start speaking very vague, and your answers are very vague. They're very general answers. And the panel doesn't necessarily see you. They don't get to know you, right? Because they have to make a decision for both of you. Is this person going to be a good fit, and are they ready for our program? And if you don't give them enough information for them to make their decision, guess what? You're risking a not yet or a wait list, right? Because they have got to be able to get to know you. And when you're scared, and you're coming from a fear mentality, you really do subconsciously hold yourself back. When you're worried so much about what not to do, you hold yourself back, right? You shrink, you play small. And that is self-sabotage, right? And we all do it. We've all done it before, but we got to notice this. I want you guys to see this. And again, it's not because you're not capable. Don't tell yourself that story. I'm not capable. I'm not smart enough. No, it's none of that. It's just because you're letting fear take the wheel, and the fear is making you forget who you are and what you're capable of and why you want this. That has to be pushed to the forefront. And we coach on that all the time. This is literally the work we do in my roadmap program. And I'm going to put a little video in the interview bundle, kind of going deeper into this a little bit, and in my mindful RNA coaching program, right? This is what we talk about, because running from fear and doing everything from not being good enough is not a fun way to live. It's not a fun way to be. It's not a fun way to operate. And you do deserve better, right? Because fear is going to convince you that playing it small is safe. And all our brain wants is for us to be safe, to the point of sabotaging ourselves, right? Fear is just convincing you that playing small, dumbing yourself down, is a safe way to go. That polished and being perfect is so much better than being real. And that's just not true. Here's what stands out in your interview: specificity, being specific, using rich examples that demonstrate who you are and what you know, even in clinically based interviews. Realness, authenticity, huge, right? Don't perform. Performing is not you. Be professional, be yourself. You can be professional and be yourself. The two can happen all together at once, right? Showcasing examples of when you've used emotional intelligence, being emotionally intelligent in the interview, reading the room, being aware of yourself. Again, all the work that we do in my programs, it's so crucial in becoming a leader at the head of the bed. Honest self-awareness, kind of like I just said, letting go and trusting yourself to do the best you can in that moment, trusting your prep and being present. Because the moment you drop the performance and the people pleasing, and you stop spinning and all the, I can't do this, like you have a check mark box of all the things you can't do. And then because you're trying to be perfect. I can't do all of these things, so I have to be perfect. But the moment you stop all of that and you just speak from being grounded, being clear in your why, who you are, what you've accomplished, what you do know, that's when that panel is going to be able to lean in. That's when they're going to be able to hear you and actually see you and actually make a decision on if you're ready for their program or not, right? Here's just some examples I use in my mocks all the time to further explain this. And this is timely when I'm recording this. Game 7, right, of the NBA Finals. Does the coach say, okay, don't shoot very much, don't call for the ball, don't do this, don't mess, right? No. Play big, go out there, offense on point, defense on point, shoot the ball, get the ball, play the game, right? Go out there, you play big. If someone invited you to sing at the Grammys, you're a recording artist, someone invited you to sing at the Grammys, are you going to choose a mediocre song and a basic outfit? No, you're going to go all in. You're going to go big. It's the Grammys. It's the Super Bowl. It's game 7, right? You cannot spend time worrying about hitting the wrong notes and the wrong plays. You got to practice hitting the right notes. You got to practice being who you know you can be, who you're becoming, who you're capable of, right? Doing what you can do with what you have, leaving it on the floor. That's all I care about when you all walk out of those interviews is being proud of yourself. Did I do the best I could do? There's always going to be room for improvement, but was I myself? Was I me? Was I real? Did I show them? Did I show them, not tell them? Did I show them who I am, what I know, why I deserve a seat at the CRNA table right now, right? That's the kind of energy that I want you to give your CRNA interview. The person who doesn't hold back, but you're continuously working and selling yourself on a place of a belief that this is possible for you and you can do this. Writing out long, perfect answers, memorizing the perfect answers using all the fancy lingo and words, right, is going to make you freeze and panic. You're not built to be a machine or a robot, and they don't want to see that. Not thinking you're good enough, not thinking you deserve that interview is going to have you showing up as not good enough. Again, have confidence in what you do know and what you do have. And hold on to that nugget because you're going to need that in CRNA school. We coach and I preach on that all the time. All right. This doesn't have to work out according to your worst fear. I want you to focus on where you want to go. I want to focus on what you want to happen. I want to focus on what you do want. And I know you're thinking, well, then what if I'm disappointed? So what if you are disappointed? What if you are? Disappointment is the perfect time for redirection. Disappointment is a feeling. It sucks. It's not fun, but it is not a reason to hold back, right? You're so worried about being let down that you're not even giving yourself a real chance. And that is like so backwards, right? I have another video out there on confidence versus cockiness as well. That's super helpful for the interview. Just don't mind me. I was like super pregnant and could barely breathe, but if you can get past that, it's a good video. All right. So what are some ways we can overcome fear-based interviewing? Practice from presence, not perfection. Like I say all the time in my leadership coaching and training, know your values, know your standards, know your why. Be rooted in that. Know your standards as a nurse, as well as a human, and how you're going to further develop those in CRNA school. Know your past stories. Know what you've conquered and overcame to be here, and use rich, specific examples that show how you think and how you move in the world and as a nurse. Rehearse out loud. Even if you don't do a mock, record yourself in practice. Record with a friend, a partner, somebody. Get feedback, adjust yourself. That's how you gain confidence. You also gain confidence by doing what you said you would do. So create a plan, follow it, and do it. That's going to up your confidence. And just show them your growth. I say this all the time. Perfect people do not get into CRNA school because there's no such thing. Imperfect people get in. Show your growth. Show them who you are. Show them how far you've come. Okay. And we do a lot of that in my interview bundle, and especially in my roadmap program, and then my other one. Okay. Second thing. I think I went off on a little tangent there. Passionate about this. Second thing, sneaky way that you self-sabotage is self-abandonment. most aspiring CRNAs, and anybody for that matter, none of us are struggling, especially in this day and age. None of us are struggling because we lack information. There's enough information out there. We struggle because we abandon ourselves in high pressure moments, right? And that comes from saying these things, right? This comes again from a place of you're so worried about people pleasing and performing that you say what you think they want to hear. You're like trying to get in their heads and their minds instead of just being you and not speaking from what you truly believe in, what you know your impact will be. Or again, abandoning yourself is also defaulting to like generic answers instead of really sharing your story. You shrink your story so it sounds more palatable, which is actually the opposite effect, right? You ignore your intuition, ignore your gut, you're not present, right? You're not in alignment with yourself just to make sure that you're people pleasing everybody. I got to say the right thing. I got to be perfect. Oh my God, right? You're abandoning yourself. And the minute you walk out of there, you're beating yourself up. Was that okay? Instead of like literally just checking in with yourself? Am I okay? Am I okay? Am I good? That was a hard thing. That was a hard, scary thing that I did. Let me check on myself. Let me make sure I'm good, right? You rehearse so hard and you're so focused on what not to do that you're forgetting to connect. I have another video, my interview bundle about the secret, two actually, the secret sauce of the interview. I think one of them's on YouTube as well, the bridging the gap one. But guys, connection. You're talking to other humans, connection. Do not forget to connect, trying to be perfect. Perfectionism does not connect. Realness, authenticity does. Staying with yourself, being present, not abandoning who you are, trying to pretty it up, right? And another thing, you abandon yourself if you let one of the panel members, if their reaction or their face or whatever, unravel your entire confidence. Like you mess up something or you say something and you perceive someone makes a face or something, and then you're like, oh, well, it's over. You know what I mean? You totally get yourself off track. No. Let people do them. You're there to do you. You're there to showcase you and give them enough information to make a decision, right? So those are some examples of some self-abandonment, which again, can all be boiled down to coming from like a fear, I'm not good enough mindset, which is no way to show up to things and in the world, right? And this shows up not because you're not qualified, but because you haven't anchored yourself in your identity and who you are, because you've staked your entire worth on getting into school in this moment. Whereas what I coach on and teach all the time, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you're probably tired of me hearing this, you're already worthy. You're already good enough. This is just learning a new skill set, going somewhere else, elevating your career, right? If you're not anchored in your identity, it's going to float and fly everywhere. And you're always going to feel like you're struggling, right? And we all do this because it's just, we've been trained to outsource our worth. We've been trained if we get good grades and we do this, we're good enough. We're not trained to think that we already are good enough. We've been trained that we have to perform, we have to please, we have to over explain ourselves. We have to get reassurance. We have to get validation. We think we have to do all these things to get worthy when really just need to take a step back. We're already worthy. We're already amazing. We already have value. We're just trying to grow. We're just trying to learn new skills and do other things, right? And this is why CRNA school can be so challenging, is because we tend to abandon ourselves when the pressure is on, right? And again, shameless plug, y'all. This is why I coach. This is why I'm so passionate about what I do and why I love it, because it's so amazing when people are like, oh my God, I'm already amazing. I just have to go be myself and I'm going to land in the right spot in the right time if I continue trusting the process and doing the work. So going into the interview with the sole goal of being liked and being approved and saying the right stuff is very sneaky, but it subtly affects how you answer the questions. Versus showing up, trusting yourself, knowing yourself, because the only person that can do that interview is you. The only person that knows yourself as good as you do is you. And trusting that the right room and the right panel will recognize that, right cohort, right time. That's how I want you to show up. Being powerful is not found in perfection. And by all means, don't ghost your own instincts. They've gotten you this far in life. Trust them to get you to the next step in life and the next, right? It's just scary because it's something new. but you've gotten yourself this far. Trust yourself. You can go a step further with yourself into the hard things, into the scary things, right? So I want to leave you with this big gem here that as you're prepping for the interview, as you're prepping for CRNA school, this is actually identity work. It's leaning into who you are, what you've done, and why you are ready now and capable now to take on CRNA school. It's about being able to be uncomfortable without abandoning and throwing yourself away and your instincts and your self-confidence, just throwing it away because you're uncomfortable. You have to be able to be, I think I have a video on my interview bundle about being nervous and being powerful at the same time. It's holding duality. I can be nervous and capable. I can be unsure and I can still show up powerfully. I can be uncomfortable yet still powerful. You guys do that all the time at work. You guys are critical care nurses, right? Think of how many butt clenching moments, that's what I call them, like you've been in, and you've kept your cool. You're the resource nurse. You're the rapid response nurse. You're helping precept, right? We can be nervous and powerful. You guys do this all the time. And the interview panel doesn't want a performer. They want a present, powerful, grounded leader who is self-aware, who knows themselves, right? Who can articulate themselves, who can be authentic and be real, who can make a mistake in the interview and say, oh my God, excuse me, I think I flubbed on that. I'm so sorry. Let me try again. Or I'm unsure of that answer right now. That is a great question. I'll get back to you, right? Don't let not knowing something. I don't know a lot of things, right? Don't let that just shake your identity and who you are. It's gotta be, it's gotta be rooted stronger than that, right? Practicing for your CRNA interview, prepping for it can be a mirror. See where you're scared at, what you're working from, right? Like this is just a good time for a self-assessment, some self-awareness, because once we're aware of something, we can have power over it. That's it, right? So start reconnecting with who you are, not just all the things you've done, but who you become in the things that you've been through. Anchor your why in something way deeper than the fear of rejection and being liked. Speak from truth, not performance, and walk into your interview with worthiness, not graspy desperation energy, right? Because CRNA programs don't just admit the most experienced nurses, they admit energy, right? They admit people who have belief in themselves. They admit future leaders who walk in vision, who know what impact they want to make in the world, not perfection. All right. So if you've been hiding, if you've been over prepping, if you've been trying to prove instead of connect, it's time to try out a new strategy, guys. All right. So notice if you're doing these things. If you want support, I have my CRNA roadmap program, which I love. It is amazing right now. We are moving and grooving in that program. I also have my interview bundle, which I'm actually currently going to put a identity self-concept little mini training in there to kind of help bring this point home. But you have enough here to work with, to think about, to use. And the best advice I can give you for your interview, be yourself, have fun, congratulate yourself for getting this far, and show them who you are. That's all you got to do. Okay. And you guys can do that. All right. Have an awesome day. I'm sure I will talk to you all very soon.